Jeremiah chapter 1, verses 5 through 9. Verse 5 is very familiar to us. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Here it's specific to Jeremiah that he was given this purpose of being a prophet to his people. But really, this scripture does apply to us in that God knows each and every one of us, and he formed us in our mother's womb, and he gave us a purpose before we were ever even born. And our job is to seek out what that purpose is by finding out and having a relationship with him, drawing close to him and saying, God, what are the skills that you have given me, and how am I supposed to use them? Moving on to verse 6, though, Jeremiah's response is this: Alas, sovereign Lord, I said, I do not know how to speak. I am too young. We see here Jeremiah is fearful. Yes, God, I know that you've given me purpose. Yes, I know that there's a plan for my life, but I'm a little worried about the people that you're sending me to. They're far more knowledgeable than me. They're a little more judgmental. I'm a little scared about what they might say about me. I'm a young person. They're older, or they've got different experiences than I do, so they're going to think I'm judging them. There's all kinds of anxiety that's building up inside of Jeremiah. We can relate to that. God gives us something to do. He gives us a task, and we start looking at the checklist of things that we have to do in order for that task to get done, and it looks insurmountable. It looks like something that might be impossible, and it gives us a little bit of anxiety. It gives us some fear, and it might be so much of a level of anxiety or fear that it halts us in our steps, and we don't do what God's telling us to do because we're afraid that we're not going to accomplish it. But God's response in verse 7, the Lord said to me, do not say I am too young. You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you. And then in verse 8, do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and will rescue you, declares the Lord. So God's saying, hey, Jeremiah, I understand that it looks overwhelming to you. I understand that these people look intimidating to you, but understand that if I am sending you, I am doing it for a reason. The very same purpose that I put in your life, I also have a purpose for the reasons and things that I give to you to do, the assignments that are in front of you. And don't think that I'm going to send you to do these things and not equip you and give you the resources that you need to do it. Verse 9, then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth. Listen, when I do these things and I come on this camera and I talk, there is no confidence here like I have it all together and I know something that somebody else doesn't know. But I believe that God is saying, hey, dig into my word and say what I'm saying to you, and maybe it'll help somebody else. And that's really the ultimate goal, is that we're not here because we're experts on something. We're not here because we've mastered it and we can tell people how to do it because we do it better than them. We're living this life of Christ because we're all in the same boat, striving to do our absolute best, to be our absolute best, to honor God. All of us are hopefully on that same boat together. And so we're sharing what God is speaking to us in a hope that it encourages somebody else to live out their faith and to walk through difficult moments together. And when they face anxiety or doubt or fear, they can know, hey, you know what? God has helped these other people along the way, and God has had a track record of being faithful in the past and providing. And so I can trust that I'm going to continue being obedient to God, and he's going to provide for me.